Welcome to Club Domingo, brought to you by Cyclone Comics.
It's all very high tech.
You set me up and then hit record and then hope that I'm going to say something I'll regret.
Yeah. Wow. Damn, missed.
Next time.
Our pre-club banter.
Hello, Gary.
Hello, Tim. How's it going?
Good. Hello, kiddies at home. Yeah, sorry. Pre-club banter.
Pre-club banter where we just pour shit on everyone.
Not at all. Oh,
Did I tell you? I told you last week about Rusty and his near-death experience. Yeah, right. Okay.
Oh, you text. I texted to see how. No, you texted to give me an update. Right. I don't think kiddies at home. I don't think kiddies at home know anything about Rusty.
Well, he's been very sick. He's been diagnosed with diabetes, but he also had some kidney disease. The test came back with some kidney disease, so he's now double jabbing a day. And last Tuesday, we were like revved up to take him to the vet to get test results and to perhaps put him down because of his kidney disease. But the vet gave a pretty good health report considering, and so we're prolonging his double jabs of insulin of a day, and he's bounced back a little bit. So he's on the right track for staying alive. So yeah, one of his cat's lives has been used up.
I was going to say I handed out quite a few Club Domingo cards over the weekend, so there might be some new kiddies at home listening. I'm not sure, but so Rusty is your trusty studio cat, your studio cat, Trusty Rusty.
He's not here at the moment, but he's a punk. He's a shitbag, and he'll wander in with mice and birds and antelope and you name it into the house, and then he won't kill them. He'll just let them go and play with them. And so it's up to me to do the tidy up. But he's my spirit cat, I suppose. There's a rocking chair here that he sits on during the day. But since the diabetes flare-up of the last couple of weeks, his appetite has been off the hook. He has just been feral hungry like all the time. So that's a new aspect of his personality that, he does settle down and go to sleep and stuff like that. But as soon as you move towards the kitchen, he's there underneath your feet going meow, 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 and just going crazy, feed me. So maybe I'll have to swap him just to get some pieces.
And is the diabetes and the kidney issue, are they related at all, or is that just a coincidence?
I don't know. I don't know whether they're linked. The vet wasn't that clear on it. But anyway, yeah. So he had a close call because we were all emotionally getting ready for some green needle darts, and we didn't need it. So we brought him back home again, and he's been living his best life over the last week. So that was a little bit fraught, but we're out the other side.
Yeah, it's you don't realize how attached you get to them until they're gone. It's one of the reasons why every time wife and kids say, let's get a pet, I go, no, because I don't want to get attached. They always say, see, I told you you'd love him or her. I go, I knew I would. That's not what the issue is. The issue is when they're gone. That's the issue.
It's the bill you have to pay at the end, the emotional bill.
That's right, the emotional bill, absolutely.
Let alone in most cases the vet bill, which is just ridiculous. But anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah.
Oh, well, here's to Rusty. Keep going, Rusty.
Yeah, good on you, Rusty.
Am I running so late that you've already finished your tea?
Yes.
Gary?
Yeah, it's been a late start today.
Late tea. Kiddies at home, we're recording on the Wednesday, and this will probably go up on the Thursday. You're right there, Gary. You got a mouthful of bag. That's the danger, man. You can't leave your tea bag in your tea.
Don't make me laugh and nut with a mouthful of bag.
Get a mouthful of tea bag. It's not for everybody. Some people like the extra
like the bag left in.
a texture. Some people don't. I'm definitely a bag out kind of guy.
Oh, yeah. Oof. Right. Okay.
You know what I found out recently? I don't know how recently. It's possibly weeks or months or something. But the word TEA, that's the new slang for give me the gossip. Did you know that? So when we have tea and toast now, it's
When would
like
I be exposed to anything new, cool, and groovy, particularly
true.
changes in the English language?
Every week on Club Domingo. That's when.
Oh, God. Okay. Come across with the tea
So it
then.
means people say dish the tea. I'm going, what? Spill the tea. I'm going, well, and it means let's sit down, have a cup of tea, and tell me all the gossip.
And
So
then
the
bag
young
in or bag
people,
out.
well, again, that is absolutely up to the tea drinker themselves.
Yeah.
But
With sugar
yeah,
or
I
without
think
sugar?
it's well, it depends on what the tea is consisting of. I
That's
think
right.
it's the young people using an old-fashioned idea and term like coming around for a cup of tea to then make a new cool saying out of
Right,
to dish
right.
the tea. And
Yeah.
on social media, it's already just been uh, truncated to just T as in the letter T, like
Yeah.
dish the
Right.
tea. People don't even bother writing TEA. But that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So let's have
Oh,
some tea and toast.
tea and toast. Dun dun dun. Okay.
And
So
then there's Darren Close, of Killaroo fame, who
yeah,
will message me at 10 o'clock at night saying, time for tea and toast. It's like you're getting your
that's
hemispheres wrong or
that's
something.
crazy talk.
Tea and toast is between 9 and 11, I reckon, in the
Oh,
morning.
go to bed, Darren Close. Go to bed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get a good night's sleep. Yeah.
We all got to get up in the morning and make more comics more often. So,
And
yeah,
have some tea and toast in the right time frame.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's really nice this morning.
So that's a nice
Uh,
t-shirt you're wearing there.
Thanks. This is my FraserPop t-shirt gifted to me 2 years ago when I did FraserPop for the first time. See if you can see the other side.
Yeah, that's nice. And when was the last time you did FraserPop?
So I did it just this weekend past. If you were watching, Gary, if you were watching last week's Club Domingo, you would have seen that I was doing it from the
Sorry,
Fraser Coast
I never
in
watched the show.
Queensland.
The two
So
hosts
yeah,
give me the irrits. Huh?
yeah, God, them and their tea talk. So yeah, I went to Fraser Pop 2 years ago, and they invited me back this year, and I've had a great time for the last week.
Right. Okay.
Shall we talk about that now? Is that like the first
Yeah,
cab off the rank, you reckon?
yeah, that's a nice segue into doing that. So now last week you were recording from Harvey Bay, and you took some time off, but then on the last Thursday you were picked up and chauffeured to the Fraser Pop location. And how did all that go?
Which is Maryborough, about 40 minutes inland from the Harvey Bay area. And we had a great time in the Harvey Bay, as I probably was saying last week anyway. So yeah, we go to the Maryborough State High School, yeah, MSHS, Maryborough State High School, which is a government high school. And it's enormous and it's beautiful and it looks like an Australian version of Hogwarts. And there's two campuses, both over 100 years old, on opposite sides of a main strip. And it used to be a grammar school. I think it used to be like an expensive boys and girls school, and there was boys on one side and girls on the other. But at some point, the government took it, and now it's one of the most highly awarded high schools in the state, if not the country.
Right.
And that definitely comes down to Simon Dunn, Done, who's the principal and has been there for, is it 10 years already? Something like that, 11 years. Amazing school, and they do incredible stuff, like both academically but artistically, and for the health of the kids and everything. A great school, and they put on a show called Fraser Pop, and it's run by the I think it's the business management students. So I think it's a year 11 and 12 students are the
Okay.
ones who actually put on the show. Obviously, very much with the aid of the support network there, the
But as
teachers
part of their
and
curriculum, which is a great idea.
yeah. So at one point, Simon, the principal, said to us, if you see people walking around with clipboards and stuff, don't worry, they're marking the students, they're not marking you. So like there's actually like people who have to come and go, well, this is a pretty good event. I think you're going to pass.
So they're being assessed. They're being assessed across the weekend.
Yeah, it's part of their ongoing assessment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way I don't know if I ever came up with this before this time I went, but the way that I try to explain it is, it's like a school fete on nerd steroids. And however big you think it is, you need to at least triple that because it's enormous.
Wow.
And it's a free event for the community. But this year, because Simon wanted some hard data, which he never really gets because it's free and people just walk through the gates, he decided he was actually going to wristband everyone who came in. And there was over 7,000 people on the Saturday alone. So I didn't hear him say it, but Anne-Marie is pretty sure that she heard him say on the Sunday, we've definitely surpassed 10,000 people by the time we left on Sunday. So amazing, like over 10,000 people through the door. And they're not all there to buy comics, that's for sure. And they're not even all there to see movie stars or to go to the artist alley. They're there because in Maryborough, there's probably only two events a year. One is the Mary Poppins Festival because she was born there, and one is FraserPop. So they come and they have a look around, etc. So a lot of tire kicking. So last time I went,
A lot of tire kicking.
but really good tire kicking, like in Harvey Bay and then again in Maryborough. Everyone's so lovely, so great to talk to, and so friendly, and they just want to help and be involved. So even if it's tire kicking, it's good fun tire kicking and good discussions. But last time I went 2 years ago, our sales weren't anything to write home about. They really weren't. But we go up, we get to hang out with people. We do some workshops at the school for the kids. FraserPop pays our way. I'm saying our as in me and Anne-Marie. And it's a good time. But this weekend, the sales, I keep on saying healthy, and I should say I should use a better word than healthy because the sales were really good. For a 2-day regional show, the sales were nearly as good or probably better than a lot of definitely the other regional shows I've been to. And I know people love like Comic Gong and how great the sales are. And I've never really cracked that for some reason. So my sales were much better than Comic Gong and, places like that. Possibly better than some of the Oz Comic Cons that I've been to as well.
Interesting.
And that could be partly because I've got now $10 comics and $30 comics when I've only ever had, $2.50 comics and $3 comics. But it's definitely more than that. So I was really, really happy with the sales that we personally had. It was really great. And there was lots of great discussions as well. And what we did was, anyone who's tabled at a show knows, well, this is what the comic is, and you point to one and you say, and you can buy this one, and people go, well, which one should I start with? Because I've got like trade paperback, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and a couple of other bits and pieces and specials and blah, blah, blah. So I say, well, the trade paperback's the best place to start because that's the opening story arc and etc. But I always talk it up to the point, or not always, it depends on the reading I'm getting on the punter. But I often talk it up to the point where I say, or you can get the whole run for $50. And it's like nearly 300 pages, well over 200 pages for $50. And people go, oh. And on the Saturday, I sold none of those. And in fact, I had one teenager who brought their dad back. And then when I got to that point of the spiel, the dad went, just walked away, going $50 for comics. I don't know. I guess he didn't appreciate that. But on the Saturday, we sold numerous sets like that. I can't remember now how many, but maybe it was 3 like full table sets.
Wow.
And in fact, one person was so excited. I went, look, I don't like to try to talk people up more and more, but I said, there's this thing called Adventure Illustrator, and there's this thing with the pencils only version, and blah blah blah. And he bought a couple of other things as well on top of the 50. So
wow, that's
pretty
good.
happy.
Yeah,
pretty happy. And I got to do I sent you the the
sketch
photo. I
cover.
got to do a sketch cover, which I always love doing. And
Yeah,
this was on a blank Phantom page. If I get out of the way, will it focus?
yeah.
Probably
No, that's
not.
it. No one can see
Anyway,
that. That's good. That's lovely. Ghost
I
that
love
moves.
doing those. There was a Phantom fan, was his name Paul, and and we were just chatting, and he said, "So you have done something with the Phantom Zone or something?" And I was pointing to the ad on the back of issues 5 and 6, where we did a tour back in the 90s to the Phantom Zone comic shops, and that we did the trading card, which he'd heard of. Um, and I said I do sketch covers if you're interested, and he went, oh, and he went into his bag. A true Phantom fan is never far away from having a blank sketch cover in their bag, and said, would you do this one like during the show? So I did it overnight on Saturday. I sketched it on at the show and then inked it back at the hotel or the motel. And brought it back, and he was really happy with it, which is great. It's good fun. I
Yeah,
said, do you want a proper Phantom, like real the Phantom, or can I do Trevor dressed as the Phantom? He said that's up to you. So I opted for Trevor. It
yeah,
goes to
nice.
Moose,
Yeah,
and yeah. So that actually that helps the coffers a lot. There's no secret. I charge $90 for that, so that helped a lot. Yeah, and good fun, keeps me busy, gives the punters something to look at. I sold one of my e-boy books, which I've only
ah,
got 2 left now, to a little boy, and I drew in the on the title page of that. I do a profile image of e-boy there and sign it as well. And he just stood there and watched the whole time. Came over next to me and watched over my shoulder. It was really cool. So yeah, it's a great show. I don't know if I should be suggesting to other people to go, because it is in Maryborough. You've got to, for me in Sydney, I've got to fly from Sydney to Brisbane, Brisbane to Hervey Bay, and bus from Hervey Bay to Maryborough, right? So it's not nearby. And they take care of me, as I said. FraserPop take care of me, so I'm definitely going back next year. They've already like penciled me in for next year, and I'm really excited because that's their 10th show. Um, but it's a hard one to say whether or not anybody else would do well or not do well,
right.
and it's not for me to talk about how the other guests went.
Yeah.
But but we have a great time. Plus, like I said, we tacked on a holiday to Hervey Bay. We'll probably tack on a holiday to Gary, which used to be called Fraser Island, next year. And it just means that we're getting away and enjoying a convention. And so, look, the other guests, which is part of the reason why it's so enjoyable to go to. The other guests were Dean Rankin, who you all know, I'm sure, from Simpsons comics and etc., and Mark Rutz, who does those movie posters in the style of well, in his own style. I shouldn't say in the style of anything, but it's reminiscent of like Drew Struzman and that kind of hand drawn pencil and watercolor and gouache movie poster
Classic
type
movie poster
illustration.
illustration. Yeah, classic.
Yeah, classic. And I met for the first time Sanit, who comes from Weather Workshop, Sanit Clamatuan. Oh, I might have even got that right. So he comes from Weather Workshop, and he builds costuming and armor and stuff like that for weather. So he comes out and talks about that kind of stuff and cosplay. And I've met this other guy who's a novelist, Dan O'Malley. I know I've met him at least once before, but we've never really chatted or got the chance to really get to know each other. But Dan O'Malley, we became such fast friends, especially Anne-Marie and Dan. Dan was so funny and so authentic and beautiful. So it was so great to meet these new people. Like they're friends now. Dan and Sanit are both definitely like full on friends. We're following each other on Instagram and blah blah blah. And Mark and Dean Rankin are always great to catch up with. So it's just a great time as well. And you add to that the fact that if we're traveling from out of town, they put us up in a local motel, and I'm not mispronouncing that. It's not a hotel, it's a motel, and it's it's I don't know, should I say it's daggy as heck, but it's like, but it's so much fun as well. We'll kind of go into our rooms and then we come out and bring the chairs out and we sit in the car park and chat and eat and drink and until we need to go off to dinner or whatever. So it's a great like immersive communal experience for those guests, the ones
Yeah,
who get
yeah.
to stay like
Nice.
that, including the Sons of Obi-Wan Academy, who I got to spend more time with again, Luke and team from there, Luke and Pat, etc. Um, all of those people, it's so great to get together with them. So yeah. So look, so running down what happened at FraserPop, I can't go past like one of the special guests they had. So they had a couple of what I think we normally call media guests, like Nathan Jones, who's been in Furiosa, no, Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road, and a few movies like that, because he's like 8 or 9, 10 foot tall, something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And Neil Fanning, who currently does the voice of Scooby Doo. But they had another guy there, another guy named Guy Gilchrist. Now I didn't know who Guy Gilchrist was. Do you know him?
The
You
Muppet
look like you
cartoon
would.
strip.
Yeah. So you know the name?
Yeah.
Oh
He,
wow.
yeah,
Um,
he's been a cartoonist for yonks and associated with the Muppets in a big
yeah.
way.
Absolutely. Oh,
Hmm.
cool. Oh, it's good. It's good that you know who he is, because I had to do some research, to see who he was, and Luke from the Sons of Obi-Wan kind of helped organize for Guy to come to Australia. He's doing a bit of a tour at the moment. He did a show in Avoca last night. I think he's got one happening in Canberra soon. So if this interests you, just look up Guy Gilchrist Australian tour. I'm sure you'll find something. But yeah, he was there, I think, almost from the very beginning of what the Muppets are and
Right.
were. So he was actually working with the puppets as well. But he's a really great cartoonist and did the Muppets comic strip for ages. He actually did the Nancy comic strip for ages as well, which I didn't
Right.
know.
Yeah. Okay.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But he was also really involved with animation, like I guess 80s animation, 80s, 90s animation. Um, and a really lovely guy and very giving of like his time and his history and the stories that he has and the abilities that he has. And he one afternoon in the motel car park, he was drawing for a couple of kids, like actual kiddies. And he's one of these guys who can just pull out a ballpoint pen and then there's like Kermit the Frog or Rolf the dog or whatever. Like they're just beautiful. And while he's doing it, he's just chatting the whole time. So he's chatting to the kids, and when the kids ran away, he started to do one for the kid's mum and kept on chatting. And Luke was there from Sons of Obi-Wan, and he said, "Tell me," or somehow we got to the point of saying, "Tell me about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." So it turns out that Guy, and again, I don't think this stuff is available on the internet. Guy did the original animation character Bible and maybe the whole world Bible for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles television cartoon show.
The very first
He
one.
was the one who helped bring it down to something very kid friendly, which
Yeah.
is the one that really took off. And he was handpicked for it, I think, according to the story, even by um, Eastman and Laird. Like he was saying, no, he didn't want to do it. Guy, I didn't get to ask this of Guy, but I asked it of Luke. I said, is Guy like an old hippie because he's got like really long hair and he has the demeanor of somebody who was probably an urban hippie.
Mhm.
But he didn't want to do any kids shows that were too violent. He didn't want to do G.I. Joe or any of those things.
It's
So
like
the
it's
Turtles
like
come and there's these big.
it's like living with the Muppets. He's the ethos of the Muppet world was soaked into his personality.
Absolutely, yeah. So the turtles have got like knives and swords and whatnot. So yeah, whether you're a purist or not, and whether you love that era of the turtles or you wish it was exactly like the comic or however it is, that's a really huge historic aspect of his
Mm.
career, I would
Yeah, yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
Um, So yeah, pretty amazing. So while he was doing those sketches for the kiddies and then the kid's mum, he said, "I'll do one for you, Tim." Like I would never ask someone like Guy to do one for free. And I said, "Oh, Guy, you don't have to do that." He said, "I'd love to do that. What would you like?" I said, "I've got a character. I've got a bull, a minotaur, in a suit. He's going, oh, you got some pictures?" So I brought over two eras of Trevor. I said, "We've got a young, full of bounce Trevor at university. And we've got this older Trevor who's a bit sad about in his middle aged and blah." He said, that's the one we're doing. So while he was telling us about the turtles, he did this amazing drawing for me.
Wow.
And
Lovely.
that's a really good rendering of Trevor. And
Yeah.
all of the Muppets are around that.
That's
Trevor's going,
fantastic.
"Oh, God."
So what are the words? What?
The words say, "I woke up all these years later to be surrounded by Muppets. What the hell am I doing with my life?" So he got the idea of what older Trevor was immediately. What the hell am I doing with my life? And at the bottom it says, "Trevor, Elmo loves you."
Oh,
So it's wonderful. And then he
wow.
apologizes for not drawing Trevor that well because it's his first time drawing Trevor. At the bottom it says,
It's,
"Sorry, first time." Oh
it's
my God, are
definitely
you kidding?
Trevor.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So good.
Wow.
So it's a
So
really
a true
wow.
convention professional.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Lovely guy. So if you're interested in hearing him tell stories and do some puppet work and sing a couple of songs, I don't know what his lineup is, but I know he's doing Canberra soon. And I feel like he's probably doing Melbourne. I don't know. So look it up on the internet and see. You want me to do your research what am I, your dad? Forget it. So yeah.
I saw a clip from one of the conventions on the weekend where he was a guest and he had the Rolf puppet that he was singing
Yeah.
along with a Green Lantern lady he was singing the Green Lantern or stating the Green Lantern what verse,
Oh yeah, yeah, the
Writers
oath.
Day,
Yeah.
the oath, but it was coming through Rolf and he was saying it to a Green Lantern who was cosplaying. That
Yeah,
was pretty
yeah.
cute. Yeah, but yeah, he's been
And
around.
we're just in like Queensland, central Queensland, or whatever you would call it, and there were people coming with their Muppet puppets that people who are so into the Muppets that they have their own puppets and they would do a little bit of Kermit versus Kermit and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, 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 he has been around for ages.
You would be a
I'm
big draw
so
card,
glad.
big draw card.
Yeah, yeah, he should be. And I think I was really lucky to get to meet him in the manner that I did. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm very
yeah, yeah.
grateful for that.
Burning tires in the motel car park.
That's right. That's exactly it. That was really cool. Um, and we talked just as a bit of kind of housekeeping. We talked a few times over the last month or two about Greener Pastures team up that's on the wall here, and me trying to get it ready for FraserPop, and the fact that it's obviously not ready. I've still got 2 pages to ink. And
I
just
wasn't
so
going to
that
say anything. I wasn't going to say.
I know that's why it's there, so that anybody
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah,
can
yeah.
kind of
Keep you honest. Keep you
bring it up. I
honest.
don't mind. Yeah, yeah. Um, but for the kind of punters that I had at FraserPop, it mattered nothing. In fact, it kept my table a little bit simpler. I didn't have to really explain what this other weird thing was. So that was all good as well.
Yeah.
I'm not too disappointed that that wasn't there. But I've got so much coming up in the next between now and November, so many things that I really want that finished ASAP, so I can maybe get number 9 finished as well for a couple of those shows as well. So back to the drawing board.
Number 9.
Greener Pastures 9.
How much? How far along of that? What am I trying to say? Bloody English is a difficult bloody language sometimes. How far along are you on issue number 9?
Me, not at all. It's fully written.
Right.
Michael's done the full script.
Right.
Have I even done any of the thumbnail? I haven't even
That's
done
right, because you're
thumbnail.
inserting some new stories, aren't you? Sort of like
Yeah, it's a 1990s era
Yeah.
Greener Pastures story.
yeah,
It's like a bit of a caper, not quite a heist, but a bit of a caper heist sort of story, and introducing a bunch of new characters, which are really cool.
and is it a self-contained issue?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that'd be good.
yeah.
Nice.
Self-contained with some callbacks to older stuff as well.
Yeah.
But nothing that you really need to know. And it should be fun. It's a good fun story. So yeah.
At FraserPop, did you move many volume 1s of your collection, your trade?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That was, I'm pretty sure that was still the highest seller. Again, Saturday and Sunday were very different crowds. Saturday, I would talk about the $30 trade paperback, and then talk about the fact that these are only $2.50. These are only $2 if you just want a $2 comic, et cetera, et cetera. So we sold quite a few bundles of 5, 6, 7, and 7.5 for $10. So people would rather hop in halfway through, or at that point of the story for $10, and maybe next year they'll buy the rest of it. But then on Sunday, people were much more willing to just go, $30, $30, $30, $50, etc. So two different crowds.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah. That was a nice wrap up. Sounds like you had a blast.
Yeah, it was a blast. It's a hard one to come down from. It's a really good time.
Yeah. Good.
And on top of that, I don't know how much I articulated my dismay and disappointment that I didn't get to go to Geek Expo in Canberra. That was also on the same weekend, because I was trying to get to as many Geek Expos as I could this year to help support their fresh coat of paint evolving from Geek Markets to Geek Expo. And this was their first 2-day show, and in Canberra, and their Canberra shows are usually pretty big, as in thousands and thousands of people.
That's like a home base, isn't it? As far as the organisers.
Yeah, that's right. Hometown show. So. And the lineup was incredible. So I was really disappointed, including Mark Sexton,
Still waiting for a phone call. But no.
You be careful. I'll start putting your name forward. I'll hand out your phone number to everybody. Do you want to go to Canberra for the week? I'm sure they'll have you.
I think I'm acclimatised to the weather. I think coming from Tassie, the Canberra weather would be nothing. I'll be there in T-shirts and undies.
I think you've just talked them out of, haven't you? Anyway, so I was really disappointed. And it sounds like they did a really big show there as well, like 10,000 people, something like that. So I'm really glad that went off well, but I'm not disappointed that I was at FraserPop in the slightest. I had a great time and did great sales. But this is going to segue into an email. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's like you've done this before. Huh?
I'm getting on my segue.
Are you going to read it out, or shall I?
Oh, I don't have it open. What are you, crazy?
You want me to be organised? Are you crazy?
Oh, man, I can open it up if you want to.
No, I got it here. Okay. So we've got a friend of the show, David Bird, who is the publisher of Pt2 comics, which I come highly recommended because they're fantastic, sent an email at clubdamingo@cyclonecomics.com.au if you want to send us an email. And I'll read it and we'll pass comment, shall we?
Let's do that.
Hi, Gary and Tim. That's you and me. As I was sitting here on Saturday, which is last Saturday, enjoying some quiet moments, it occurred to me that 2 events in Melbourne were falling on the same days. They would be MetroCon 2026 and the Melbourne Comic and Toy Fair, both on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. This may be a possible discussion point for your show. And what's happening? We're discussing it. I can sort of understand if you have 2 events in different states that may have conflicting dates, but in the same city? Someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the chap who organises the Melbourne Comic and Toy Fair is also the person who organises the Artist Alley event, and the one in February this year fell on the same weekend as Festival of the Photocopier 2026. The Artist Alley event was a flop, I was informed by a vendor there. Is this simply bad?
Hang on for a second. That's Artist Alley in inverted commas, because that's the actual name of the show. They've called the event Artist Alley.
Right.
So, so that
which I know
it's not an Artist Alley at an event.
Yeah, I know nothing about that one. That's new to me. But anyway, you get that at my age. Is this simply bad planning or some sort of perverse form of competition to assert market dominance? Yes, I'm speculating wildly, David is. Make, the new show that's coming on October 9, 10 and 11 in Melbourne. However, the people who run the Healesville Comic and Zine Fair are moving it from November to late October, directly in the potential wake of the bigger event. Better to leave it where it is, in my opinion. To be fair, the people driving the Healesville event are local councillors with the aid of a couple of comic people, maybe chasing the tourist dollar. Enough blathering. Cheers, David Bird.
Fantastic.
So your thoughts?
So number one, Artist Alley. is a reasonably new show. It's a fair, it's an artist market sort of fair sort of thing, called Artist Alley. And I didn't realize it was being run by the same people who do the Melbourne Comic and Toy Fair until recently. Myself, because of a big faux pas, which was that they decided that they were going to trademark the name Artist Alley. So it's like, but everybody uses the term Artist Alley. You
Good luck
really
with
want to
that.
try to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they did it, and then they got yelled at so much that they've backpedaled and given it back to society. I don't know. But it looks extremely like Japanese and manga and anime kind of oriented when you look at the logo and the graphics to promote Artist Alley, which is the reason why I would not have associated it with the Melbourne Toy and Comic Fair, because that's a very kind of looks very much like a little fair, collector's fair sort of set of graphics. So yeah, there's that. Just in case, like some people, some of the kiddies at home don't know what the Artist Alley event is. But yeah, having Metro Comic Con and Melbourne Comic and Toy Fair on the same weekend
In the
in the
same
same
town.
city is pretty full on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And then on top of that, I should have looked up his name. Benji Baracek, is that how you pronounce it? Baracek, did a signing at Ace Comics on the same weekend as well. Him and
Right.
two of his cartoonist mates who contributed to his latest Kickstarted comic did a signing. So the last thing he did was Dead Sheet, and this comic is I think is a follow-up to that with like 4 short stories by different cartoonists, different comic book artists, and he did a signing at Ace. No, not at Ace. At All Star Comics in Melbourne, same city again on the same weekend. And he said he thinks it actually was beneficial that he was doing it on that weekend, that people were coming in
Okay. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
or from the conventions
Yeah.
or something. So
You
that
know,
was, I made a list. That was 3 things in Melbourne. The Brisbane Illustrators Festival, which has lots of comic book people. They really, really promote comics there, was on in Brisbane. FraserPop was on. Central Coast Zine Fair was on. And Geek Expo in Canberra. Like, that's one weekend. So much going on. And I'm probably missed something, I'm sure.
yeah. And you know, I'd like to think that maybe it's not competition, it's just the availability of decent venues is hard to nail down. And sometimes this scheduling conflict, it just crashes because of, you know, we want to do something in July or mid-year, what weekends are available for this particular place that we want to hire. And it's only and the availability is limited. You know, like that could be part of the reason why there are multiple things on a given weekend.
The fact that the Healesville Comic and Zine Fair is moving their usual date to be like 2 to 4 weeks earlier is probably not a good idea. Like, and it's probably not a good idea for anybody to move their conventions around. Like, if you've got what seems to be the regular time period that you put on your show, then people try to work around that and try to plan their own holidays or trips or whatever around that as well, if they wanted to go to one of the big shows in another city, you know? So not good to move dates around full stop. And as David kind of suggests, the fact that what we're hoping to be a really large festival in Make in Melbourne, the Melbourne Alternative Comics Expo, what we're hoping that to be really big, like that will probably eat into whether or not people would travel to go to Healesville, which is just outside of Melbourne. I don't know exactly where, for more of a zine fairy thing afterwards. So it's not like it's Oz Comic Con and a zine fair. It's like a comics festival and a zine fair. Those Venn diagrams, like they mesh a lot more than like Oz Comic Con and a zine fair would.
And as we've already stated, moving from November to October of all months, like October this year is cram packed already.
Yeah.
So
Huge.
yeah, there's a lot going on in October, and November is starting to bubble over with stuff as well. So it's not easy. It's good that there are people that want to set these things up and have an event, but boy, you've got to be real mindful of when and how you place it on the calendar.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Metro Comic Con wouldn't care. They will just put on their show, and it's really is more about the media guests anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Although they have got a soft spot for comic book people, I know that. But in general, that's not what the show is necessarily about. But I also just feel like their attitude would be, well, this is when we're putting it on.
Yeah,
Deal with it.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but someone like Healesville, they probably should take better notice of what's going on. And again, there are so many shows now that yes, in different states there will be multiple shows on any given weekend, I'm sure.
Maybe that's just a sign of a healthy business, profile for across those things, like the Metro Comic Con and the Melbourne Comic and Toy Fair. If you're not an invited guest to Metro Comic Con, the Melbourne Comic and Toy Fair is a great alternative to be able to present at and sell your goods at.
Oh, for sure.
So that they're kind of complementary in a way.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a pretty big overlap there as well. I'm sure a lot of people who would go
definitely an overlap
to Metro Comic Con would probably go to the Melbourne Toy and Comic Fair. I think they're both ticketed. I think even that fair is a much cheaper, but ticketed regardless. But
is it a sign of a healthy scene? Is it a sign of growth that we can sustain that? The proof is in the pudding of whether it can be sustained. If this kind of double up persists and becomes norm, whether it's sustainable and the crowds go to both and there is tabling by creators at both in a healthy manner.
Yeah. If I lived in that city as a punter, I probably would have gone to both. And if in my younger years, when I had more time than I knew what to do with, I would also have gone to the signing as well. I would have said, "What an amazing weekend!" I don't know. Maybe it's not a bad thing. And just one caveat where you say, or where David says it's not like a grab for market dominance or whatever the phrase was that he used. I'd say 9 times out of 10 it's not, but every so often it is. And there was an issue with 2 shows happening in a small country town. One that was well established and one that came out of nowhere. And the one that came out of nowhere was going to put on an event 2 weeks before the established one so that no one will go to the established one. And that was, I'm sure, I have not talked to the people who were involved, but I would be sure that was done specifically to push out the older event.
Yeah.
So not everybody has the general community's well-being at heart, unfortunately.
Yep, that's true too. Yeah. So interesting email from David. Thanks for that. We have talked a fair bit about the crashing of schedules and the multiple and the busyness of certain months of the year with overlapping events. That's a reminder that busy months are coming ahead. To the tail end of this year is going to be quite interesting to see how it all plays out.
And I don't know, did I mention this last week or the week before? But I was going to have a pretty slow year. I was going to do the Geek Expos and the Oz Comic Cons and Scamp. I think that was probably going to be it. And even that was a lot. But I've added a few more things to it. And
you want to go to
this
Make?
point, I want to go to Make. Absolutely. I've applied for Make, so I'm hoping that my application gets approved for that. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. I've marked down like 8 things yet to do between now and November. 8 events that I'm going to go to, which is a bit crazy. Which includes Canberra Oz Comic Con, which I'm so grateful about, and Sydney Oz Comic Con, and Scamp. Hopefully they'll accept me as well. I'm hoping that I'll do those 3. But hopefully Make, and I'm going to Rockhampton for the opening of that exhibition, and a couple of other things. So, and I'm excited. It's good, and we're doing well. sales-wise. So it's worth our while going. So in the end, that was going to be that'll be 11 events this year, 11 events in one calendar year.
No wonder you still have 2 pages to ink on the wall behind you.
Yeah,
Priorities,
exactly.
man, priorities.
And if they all come off, we're going to be doing 5 shows in 6 weeks. 5 shows over 6 weekends.
You're not 25 anymore, McEwen. You're not. This is
how you stay 25.
It's how you have an early grave.
Could be that too. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
A couple of opportunities that I don't want to say no to. So yeah. Very good. Yeah.
It's a cold segue to a new subject. Last week we were talking about craft, and we received a really interesting comment on the Facebook thread for the link to the show from Tony Single. And I want to read that one out and get some feedback on that before we say farewell for the day. So let me just get that up here. Come on. There we go. Tony writes, thought-provoking discussion on craft there. Craft has often been a scary word for me, so thanks for demystifying it. I don't know whether we actually demystified it, but we talked about it a little bit. I can get on with practicing my craft with a bit less existential angst now. It's okay to suck until you don't, and then probably still suck anyway. Whatever. I have a question for you both. Do you think it's possible to care so much about craft that you end up snuffing any spark your art might have otherwise had? For example, Gerard Ashworth's work was once described to me as lacking in craft and therefore not being very good, which I found to be somewhat dismissive. His work is alive, just humming with energy. It crackles off the page to such an extent that I'm not even thinking about the craft of it anymore. Whether or not craft was involved in his making of the thing has become irrelevant by that point. Ugh, I hope that question makes sense. It's a very good point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
Kiddies at home, if you don't know who Gerard Ashworth is, just have a Google of him and look at his pictures while we discuss this. But Gerard Ashworth is definitely a heritage listed item in Australian comics, I reckon. His mini comics and not so mini comics are incredible.
Weird Stress Kid was one. Weird Stress
Kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would call him a severe stylist as well. I mean, he's very unique, and it's all about style. So whether craft comes into it or not, his style carries it through.
Yeah. Limbo August, Modern Murder were other things that he did. Plus, he did bunches of specials. But very probably one of the most prolific comic book creators in the period of the 80s and 90s, I would say, if not even further than that. Like so many pages. And the thing is that his artistic style was a direct reflection of his personality and emotional and mental state as he wrote. It was very stream of conscious writing and drawing, and it was a roller coaster that you would hang on to for dear life because of that. It was amazing. You wouldn't want to do it any other way if you're talking about Gerard Ashworth. Is there craft involved? There's absolutely craft involved because he's a comics aficionado, old style, kind of loves comics and loves looking at comics and reading comics and understanding how they work, and whether or not it's coming out in again specifically his work in a manner that is very visible or very consciously thought through is a completely different thing to whether or not there's craft involved, I guess, but it's kind of been assimilated in him so much that it's coming out in his work anyway. Some people say craft, and they mean you have to spend forever to draw a page, and there has to be lots of detail, and it has to be very kind of, you have to use the Fibonacci spiral and all of these other things. And it's like, no, there are different ways of putting together any piece of artwork. And I'm sure that there are people who work so hard on their craft that they end up deciding this is too hard and they give up instead of
sucks the fun out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's sort of, I was thinking about this a little bit, not a lot, but, between craft and being a drafts person and a crafts person, somewhere in there, I think I did this last week as well. I did this measurement where it changes depending on what you're working on. And somewhere in there, you develop a style. And Gerard's style was very dominant as far as you could pick his work a mile away. And there's no denying that there's craft in there, but it's hidden by style and the delivery method. And it's an interesting thing, that between those two technical terms is such a personal thing that is style, and you develop your own style. And he developed it very early and was a master of that as well, and communicating his ideas using his style.
Yeah.
And within that style was a certain amount of craft and a certain amount of draftsmanship. The draftsmanship, was may have been sloppy or underground cartooning style, but that is still part of the cake that is a craft.
Yeah, exactly. And even the term sloppy is a bit of a misnomer. It was not neat, but it was something different to sloppy. It's not like he's trying to be sloppy.
It was full of intention. Everything,
full of
every
intention.
line.
Oh my God, yes. Intent is what was there 100%.
Yeah.
This is a discussion that comes up other places, obviously. And there was, I don't know how long ago, but there was some talk about it, either on one of the Cerebus / Dave Sim Facebook pages or in one of his to camera videos that he does. And he's a big proponent of craft, and like, you've got to sit and do something, and it's like, well, that's you've got to do that, Dave Sim, but not everybody has to do that. I can see that in you and Gerhard's work, absolutely, and that's absolutely what drew me to it the first time I started reading it, reading Cerebus. But that's not for everybody, absolutely. So yeah, if you're telling a story, you don't want to lose your love of the creative process. So if it feels like it's becoming too much because of wanting it to be beautifully crafted, then you might have to pull back. There are times where I do an illustration where I want it to be beautifully crafted, and there are times where it's just, I'm drawing in my style and it'll be finished the way that it's always finished or whatever.
And there's the mystery of building comics that that whole craft thing of, you have this loose, lovely sketch, and if you try and maintain that on the page to loose, lovely pencils, and then you go to inking and you lose it all. And it's like the craft of inking gets in the way of maintaining that lovely original soft pencil line that you want to keep. And you can't, because that craft gets in the way of how good an inker are you in maintaining that line that you want to keep.
It's one of the reasons why I would probably never even try to ink something by Gene Colan. Like, the pencils are like, how do you replicate any of that? And when I see good inkers like replicating pretty much the intent of Gene Colan's pencils, I'm pretty amazed. But then you give, and I've only seen a little bit of it probably in my life, so it's not. I'm not talking from a great point of knowledge, but you see someone like Joe Sinnott ink Gene Colan, and you go, oh my God, like that's really not meshing very well. But somebody more like Tom Palmer, and you go, amazing, keep going. So,
the publishers that are smart enough to say, hey, Gene, can we just reproduce your pencils?
Which is possible now. It wasn't always possible.
Always possible, because the whole inking process came from making artwork black and white so that you can make a plate from it.
Exactly.
You can make a plate. That's where all this inking business came from. These days, it's why it's still around is another subject for another show.
So Tony Single was asking that question on one of our Facebook posts. So really excited to see what Tony is working on. It looks like it's a pretty big project for him. Every time that Tony's done work from back in the mini comic days, I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s, I guess. I'm not sure, can't remember. And then his work with DEEVEE, back in the day there as well. All of that stuff really exciting. So the fact that he's making something which sounds like it's coming very personally from him, take as long as you need to, Tony, and when it's ready, I'll be ready to buy it because I'm excited to see it.
We'll be checking out your craft.
Yeah, where's your craft?
Where's your craft, man? We're not talking about cheese.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm calling it.
You're calling it? Is that
Yeah,
is that a wrap? Let me just let me have a quick look at my notes. I wanted to talk about the Anamoga pub, but
You can do that for a couple of minutes if you want, and then we're going to sign off.
You linked me to something on Facebook to say that the Anamoga pub in Wodonga is up for sale. And
no big surprise there, based on what you were telling me.
Kiddies at home will remember my my adventures at the Anamoga pub when I went to Geek Expo in Wodonga. So go back and listen to that show if you haven't listened to it before. But
Anamoga Grudge.
Yeah, that's right. The Anamoga Grudge. And now it's up for sale. So let me tell you, you weren't the first person to tell me about it either. Kieran from Wodonga, from the Talking Bread, Halftone Productions, etc., messaged me and said, time for a change of career. Buy the Anamoga pub.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But yeah, thanks everybody for thinking on me. I would love it. I would love it. It should be like a comics and cartooning museum is what it should be turned into. Daniel Best, Steve Panozzo, the Australian Cartoonists Association, etc. Time to put some money that you don't have into mouths that aren't yours, and etc. and so forth, and buy it and turn it into a museum. That'd be amazing.
You and your highfalutin ideas. It's okay for other people to spend their money. You've done your dash on as far as that's concerned.
Exactly.
You're an ideas man, but you're not a finance man.
Exactly. I'm just taking that off my list of things to talk about. All right. Sounds good, man.
Okay. That'll do for this week. And you get to finish those pages on your wall there.
2 to go.
2 to go. And I've got more werewolves that I'm drawing and writing about here. You know, like I did.
Nice. Oh, yeah. What have you got? Why? Screen cap. Nice.
It's hard settling on a werewolf design that you have.
New werewolf movie.
Sorry?
This is true. I said there's a new werewolf movie, but that's not you. Let's talk about you.
The Eggers one, the one that's coming in December. It looks very bloody scary.
It's still that far away. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to get this thing to ride the wave of werewolves. Yeah. Yep. Okay. What do we do? What do we do? What do you say?
What we do? We do more comics more often. That's what I say. More comics more often. See you, kiddies.
Talk next week.